Hey guys, I have the final chapter of Maccabees from the first book of Maccabees, and this is a very big personal accomplishment for me because I have a hard time completing projects. I can start them, I can start all kinds of projects, but to finish them, something happens. I mentally, physically just become so resistant and like don't psychologically evaluate me and do behavioral analysis. Like I'm just sharing this accomplishment and hopefully you guys can celebrate with me. And I apologize if these readings have been maybe awkward because of pronunciations being wrong, or the the speech pattern, like it's not my regular speech pattern, so I may not be reading it with the correct like in voice. um it, just thank you for bearing with me. So the final chapter, Maccabees, book 1, 16, chapter 16. And this is real life. You don't always end happily ever after. So in my pre-reading of this, I'm reminded it's not a novel, it's real life. I think we all can look around in the world events today and recognize that we're still in a battle. So here we go. Again, here we go. Then came up John from Gazura and told Simon his father what Sendibius had done. Wherefore Simon called his 2 eldest sons, Judas and John, and said to them, I and my brethren and my father's house have ever from my youth and to this day fought against the enemies of Israel, and things have prospered so well in our hands that we have delivered Israel oftentimes. But now I am old, and ye by God's mercy are of a sufficient age. Be ye instead of me and my brothers, and go and fight for our nation, and the help from heaven be with you. So he chose out of the country 20,000 men of war with horsemen, who went out against Sennabius, and rested that night in Modin. And when, as they rose in the morning and went into the plain, behold, a mighty great host, both of footmen and horsemen, came against them. Howbeit there was a water brook betwixt them. So he and his people pitched over against them. And when he saw the people were afraid to go in the water brook, he went first over himself, and then the men, seeing him, passed through after him. That done, he divided his men and set the horsemen in the midst of the footmen, for the enemy's horsemen were very many. Then sounded they with the holy trumpets, whereupon Sennabius and his host were put to flight, so that many of them were slain. And the remnant gave them to the stronghold. At that time Judas, John's brother, wounded. But John still followed after them until he came to Cedron, where Sendibius had built. So they fled even unto the towers of the fields of Azotus. Wherefore he burned it with fire, so that there were slain of them about 2,000 men. Afterward he returned unto the land of Judea in peace. Moreover, in the plain of Jericho was Ptolemus, the son of Abubus, made captain, and he had abundance of silver and gold, for he was the high priest's son-in-law. Wherefore his heart being lifted up, he thought to get the country to himself, and thereupon consulted deceitfully against Simon and his sons to destroy them. Now Simon was visiting the cities that were in the country, and taking care of the good ordering of them, at which time he came down himself to Jericho with his sons, Mattathias and Judas, in the 117th year, in the 11th month, called Sabbath, where the son of Abubus received them deceitfully into a little hold called Dorcas, which he built, made them a great banquet, howbeit he had men hid there. So when Simon and his sons had drunk largely, Ptolemy and his men rose up, took their weapons, and came upon Simon into the banquet place, and slew them, and his 2 sons, certain of his servants, in which doing he committed a great treachery, and recompensed evil for good. Then Ptolemy, wrote these things and sent to the king that he should send them a host of aid to him, and he would deliver him the country and the cities. He sent others also into Gezerah to kill John, and unto the tributes he sent letters to come unto him, that he might give them silver and gold rewards. And others he sent to take Jerusalem and the mount of the temple. Now one had run afore to Gezerah and told John that his father and brethren were slain, and quoted he, Ptolemy had sent to slay thee also. Thereof, when he heard, he was sore astonished. So he laid hands on them that were come to destroy him, and slew them, for he knew that they sought to make him away. As concerning the rest of the acts of John, and his wars and worthy deeds which he did, in the building of the walls which he had made, and his doings, behold, these are written in the chronicles of his priesthood from the time he was made high priest after his father. Done.